It's all about arts and culture. Everything we do is about activation and expression. And SDOT Director Adi Memory, thank you for being here as well, and your great transportation leadership, which has gotten some attention, some good attention lately. I also want to thank Lincoln Property for hosting us here today at the state-of-the-art 222 Fifth Building. This is amazing, isn't it? I'm talking about the weather, by the way. No, this site is amazing, the architectural statements that are made, the feel of it, and most importantly, what we're trying to do to activate this area and support the growing life sciences and biotechnology hub here in South Lake Union. We know that this is an incredible industry, one we do not take for advantage, what's the word I'm trying to find? For granted. It's been a long week so far. This is creating over 25,000 jobs in this sector here in King County, Washington, and just do amazing work for global health and regional health and the kinds of things they're working on. You know, we get criticized from the other Washington for some of our commitments to things like equity and gender fairness and climate change. We get attacked for our belief in science and how we believe in the benefits of research grants at a time where we have to fight for this kind of commitment. And I have leaders around me that will talk more about that, but the fact is housing and jobs and a diversity of small businesses are critical to our economic vitality, critical to us being vibrant here in downtown and a little north of downtown. Downtown runs on people, on small businesses, on ideas, and our downtown activation plan that I'm very proud of the planning that we did, but most importantly, the implementation as well, and I want to thank our Office of Economic Development in that regard as well. We're making progress again to make downtown safe, thriving, vibrant, and critical neighborhood for our residents, workers, and visitors alike. So the first piece of legislation we'll be signing this morning will help fill vacant storefronts by expanding ground-level commercial uses, which will in effect boost our economy and activate our streets with more people. In this particular facility, again, in the biotech space, we couldn't be more excited. This will broaden the pool of tenants for ground floor spaces and allowing more entrepreneurs and free thinkers and small business owners to call downtown Seattle home. And we actively recruit these types of tenants, and we're excited about what we're seeing. New businesses will be allowed on ground floor areas. This will include medical offices, research and development laboratories, food processing, horticultural operations, crafts, manufacturing, art installations, and many more. And again, I want to thank SDCI for their wisdom in thinking about how we can think outside the box, and indeed Chief Operating Officer Marco Lowe and his group for the housing work, the housing ideas that have come forward in this work. The second piece of legislation will extend building permits for projects previously vested under our old codes. And this will in effect allow projects to proceed without the time and cost of applying for new permits. We think this is a critical strategy, which by extending these permits, it will prevent, hopefully, the potential loss of 29,000 planned units of housing, including many affordable housing units and housing projects planned for downtown. And you'll hear from Chris Persons later, and I want to thank Chris and his organization, Community Roots, for doing the work that they are doing. You know, these affordable housing units and housing projects planned for downtown not only house people, which is the most important thing, they also produce about $13.4 million in sales tax and $75 million in MHA fees. So it's a win-win scenario when we're trying to do this kind of work. So we know that in a challenging economic environment right now, and that's why I'm so pleased to see my department heads here, we have a One Seattle approach trying to really look at our entire system and think what makes sense as we deal with some of our fiscal challenges. So I close by thanking Councilmember Mark Solomon for his leadership in chairing the Land Use Committee. He's been focused on expanding economic opportunities and creating new housing and supporting small businesses throughout the entire city. And of course, he's been with the city for a while, making sure in the public safety realm things are going along the way he wants to see them as a crime prevention specialist, a subject matter expert. Now he's used this expertise in other areas. And so as land use chair, Councilmember Solomon has done strong work to get this legislation over the finish line, and we look forward to continuing our work with him. And I present to you Councilmember Mark Solomon.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm happy to be here with you today to celebrate this new piece of legislation, which will help revitalize key areas of downtown Seattle. Today we're introducing a new law that allows for more flexible uses of ground floor spaces in key areas of our city's core. And this legislation opens the door for a broader range of vital place-defining businesses and creative commercial designs, making it easier for entrepreneurs, scientific research groups, and local vendors to bring fresh ideas to our downtown streets. And as we continue recovering from the impacts of COVID-19, we know that reestablishing the character of a changing downtown is imperative. What people want and need from our city spaces is evolving, and this law responds directly to that shift. It empowers property owners and small business owners with more freedom to shape their spaces in ways that serve the community, whether that means a pop-up shop or a small restaurant or a ground floor which contributes to the research and development that will alter how we interact with our world, or even something we haven't imagined yet. Right? Very critically, I want to thank the many stakeholders who helped shape this policy and the SDCI staff and the mayor's staff who worked extremely hard turning stakeholder feedback into new legislation to revitalize our downtown. I also got to give a shout out to my policy guy, Thaddeus Gregory, who did a lot of heavy lifting on this himself. I'm not going to let the fact that he worked on this go unnoticed. So, thank you. Together, we're building a vibrant downtown that is not just recovering, but finding new, vibrant life and paving the way for a stronger, more resilient future. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Solomon. And I also, Nathan, I didn't see you standing there. I want to recognize Nathan Torgelson, who is the SDCI director. Thank you for your leadership and your group's leadership. Next, you'll hear from Sung Yang. I think many of you know who he is, chair of the Downtown Seattle Association Board and a principal at Pacific Public Affairs, and has over 2 decades of experience managing public policy. You know, Sung, every time I introduce you, you just omit the part that you work for the city of Seattle. I don't know what your slow playing is on this here. That's where I met you. A former public servant, Sung has been a champion for arts and economic development in our downtown neighborhoods, and thank you for your consistent and strong leadership. Sung Yang.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. I do want to start by thanking Mayor Harrell for this legislation and also for really his unwavering dedication, commitment, and hard work. Nobody works harder at making downtown thrive than Mayor Harrell, and I want to truly thank him for that. I also want to thank Councilmember Solomon for spearheading this effort at the council and for rallying his colleagues around its approval, and everyone else here in this room that brought us to this really historic occasion of the passage of these 2 pieces of legislation. Downtown's revitalization, continued revitalization, is critical for the entire city. As the region's economic engine, what happens in the core of Seattle radiates far beyond its footprint. As you walk through the heart of downtown, you will see foot traffic reminiscent of pre-pandemic times and many of our public spaces full of activity and vibrancy. But far too many of our storefronts remain empty, and that doesn't send a message that matches with the trajectory and reality of downtown's upward trajectory. This legislation will help fill vacant ground floor spaces in downtown neighborhoods, filling gaps in our urban fabric, producing even more activity on our streets, and driving our revitalization efforts forward. Downtown needs to have a diversity of businesses to serve its diverse population of residents, workers, and visitors. By allowing new business types to be located here, we are also creating opportunities for entrepreneurs to call downtown home, and setting up shop downtown should feel like an attainable goal. Here today, at a new state-of-the-art life sciences facility, we are recognizing how our downtown is also a hub for research and development, a critical industry in our city, that can now expand to ground floor spaces under this legislation. Downtown has made a tremendous comeback over the last few years under the mayor's activation plan, mayor's leadership, the work of the council, and of the Downtown Seattle Association. Data from Downtown Seattle Association's Downtown Revitalization Dashboard shows that in March, we saw a post-pandemic high of nearly 101,000 workers downtown on an average per day. In the third month of Amazon's return to 5 days a week in the office, the South Lake Union and the Denny Regrade neighborhood saw daily worker foot traffic of nearly 48,000, numbers that are trending closer to pre-pandemic conditions. And in a significant development, local visitors, and these are people who live within 10 miles of downtown, are coming to the center city at an increasing rate. In fact, in March 2025, the number of local visitors to downtown surpassed pre-pandemic levels. So working with the city and our partners, we will continue this momentum, and we're excited to welcome new business to downtown. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sung. Thank you, Sung. Next, you're going to hear from Alex Egner, who is the Executive Vice President of Development at Lincoln Property Company, overseeing the firm's redevelopment projects throughout Washington and Oregon, including right here at 222 Fifth. And Lincoln's development pipeline in the Pacific Northwest includes over 1,500 multifamily units and more than 500,000 square feet of commercial, retail, and life science developments. Lincoln's exactly the kind of company we recruit and we want to stay here because they play such a vital role in our success. Alex, please take the mic.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Harrell and Councilmember Solomon. Thank you for everyone involved at the city for all your hard work to push this legislation through. Thank you to Ian Morrison, our Land Use Council, and McCullough Hill Leary for all the hard work that you've done as well. My name is Alex Agner. I am an Executive Vice President at Lincoln Property Company. And with our partners, Intercontinental Real Estate Corporation, we developed, own, and manage this life science building. We want to express our sincere appreciation to the mayor and to Council Solomon for your leadership in passing this important legislation. By expanding the types of street-level uses permitted in our buildings, you're helping unlock opportunities for innovation, activation, and connection in key parts of our city. This is a kind of regulatory flexibility. It's exactly what we need right now to bring new life into our ground floor spaces. These uses attract foot traffic, create jobs, and contribute to a more engaging and walkable urban experience. At 222 Fifth, we're matching the city's forward-thinking policy by reimagining how space can be used. So we've launched CoLabs, a biotech incubator designed to support early-stage life science companies in Seattle. Through CoLabs, we provide flexible lab space and operational support to help startups grow, attract investment, and scale. Our goal is to ensure the next generation of biotech companies not only start in Seattle, but grow here and thrive here, and help position Seattle as a key hub in the nation for medical research. Thank you again, Mayor and Councilman, for taking this bold and thoughtful action. This legislation is a meaningful step to a more vibrant, resilient, and inclusive downtown, and Lincoln Property Company and Intercontinental are proud to be a part of it.
Thank you, Alex. Next, our closer. Do you remember the show? This is the address here is 222. Do you remember the show Room 222? Do any of you remember that?
I do.
You and I are the only ones to remember that. You remember it too? Okay, it was a popular show. I was going to try to weave that into the room. Okay, so that's what I first thought of when I saw the address.
I was very young.
You're very young. I was in college. No, I'm just kidding. So as many of you know, because of the great work that Christopher and his organization has done, he's the CEO of Community Roots Housing since 2007, and he's led the organization through significant growth and many award-winning housing projects. And we know he'll be retiring later this year, and we want to thank you, Chris, for your just untiring energy and commitment to affordable housing and your strong partnership with the City of Seattle and all the work you've done to address housing affordability. So closer, Chris, take us home. All right.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all. Again, my name is Chris Persons. I'm the CEO of Community Roots Housing. We own and operate 46 properties in Seattle, comprising almost 2,000 affordable apartments. We also have 3 new projects under construction today, comprising nearly 400 more. And our future development pipeline includes more than 700 additional homes. Community Roots Housing has been developing and operating affordable multifamily properties in Seattle for 50 years, and every year it gets harder and more expensive. If you've got IT professionals that work for you or an IT team, this might resonate with you. I tell my IT director, who I love, I tell him all the time, just make it easier for me to do work. All I want to do is work and get my job done. As a prominent affordable housing developer, all I want to do is build more affordable housing, make it easier for us to do our work. And that's what this legislation does. Thank you to City Council and Mayor Harrell for making this no-nonsense legislation happen by allowing Community Roots projects that have temporarily stalled due to pandemic-related delays to allow these projects to move forward under the very stringent energy codes they were already designed for, saves us millions of dollars in redesign and development costs, and allows our projects to move forward, ensuring that affordable housing will be delivered to low-income communities. Seattle remains one of the most environmentally sustainable cities in the country. The buildings that Community Roots Housing has developed based on the 2015 and 2018 codes are greener and more energy efficient than at any time in history, and they all comply with stringent Washington State Evergreen Sustainable Development standards. As we continue to work together to resolve the housing crisis in our city, I look forward to continuing to work closely with the Mayor Harrell, the City Council, and the entire city to rapidly develop affordable housing while never compromising on our commitment to sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, Chris. So we're going to sign some legislation, and I want to, again, thank you for the community leaders and housing leaders and potential tenants doing this great work, and particularly our departments here. Our One Seattle approach are going to get the city right where we need it to be, which is vibrant, active, fun, joyful on a great day. So thank you for being here. Let's sign some legislation so I can pass away some pins. Okay. Pose first to the camera shot.
Right here, Mayor. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.